Hey everybody, Kyle Goethe here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and we've got another unboxing for you today. The wonderful people over at Paramount Scares have released this Paramount Scares Volume 2. We recently opened up Volume 1 of this box set, which had Smile, Sweeney Todd, Pet Sematary, Rosemary's Baby, and Crawl. And this is Volume 2, which only has 4 films this time. Kind of an eclectic combination of Friday the 13th Part 2, Breakdown, World War Z, and Orphan First Kill. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this, take a look at what's inside. The presentation for the first collection was kind of interesting, so I'm curious to see what this one is.
We have Paramount Scares Volume 2. Let's take a quick spin of what we've got here before we open it up. It's a little bit of a big and hefty set here, so it does have a Volume 2 listed on the bottom. In fact, let's just take the wrapping off right now. We can jump right into it. Okay. So there it is. As you can see, we see the front here. I can, see elements of some of the various films in which we're talking about here, but this is a bit more of an unusual set for me. I really like that we've got a Jason on this Volume 2 as well, because that's crazy. I have all the Friday the 13th films, but the fact that the first volume didn't include the first Friday the 13th is kind of bonkers to me. Paramount Scares, we have Volume 2 at the bottom right there. And on the back we have some, I guess you could call it back matter that we can just remove and take a better look at what's in the set. We've got some swirls and stuff. And go ahead and, the other side's got more of those swirls with that Volume 2. Top of the box, bottom of the box, pretty standard stuff. We'll go ahead and lift this up. I didn't also mention that Jason's mother being on the front and the Camp Crystal Lake sign. Pretty cool. Although again, I've mentioned this, but it is kind of odd to me that, it's just kind of odd to me that we didn't include Friday the 13th Part 1 and then instead went right to Part 2, which I think is interesting. So, opening up the box, we see right at the top we have a Fangoria issue. This is what the first collection also had. It was kind of a vintage Fangoria special collector's edition that covered the various films. In fact, we have World War Z, Orphan First Kill, Breakdown, and Friday the 13th Part 2. I love these kind of faux recreations of them. It's got some articles, some shopping stuff available in there as well. It's really cool that this exists. And that you can own kind of a piece of Paramount's history. I like that Paramount is kind of going into their scare time and really diving into their various films. Like I said, I don't know that I like the second volume more. For one thing, it has one less film, which I think is kind of silly. And it's not a cheap set, so like one less film definitely doesn't decrease the ability, but you also have a sequel to a famous film where the first one's on 4K, but like, are we to expect that, like, what's going to be in Volume 3 if there is one, World War Z, which I think isn't, I don't personally like World War Z very much. Breakdown, which I'm excited to see, but I don't know that I would call it a scary movie. Again, you guys in the comments tell me, does Breakdown belong in the Paramount Scares box? And then we have Orphan First Kill, which got great reviews, but it's also a prequel to another film that's not included. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, the choices of the films in this one are the really flabbergasting part for me personally, okay? The set also does come with digital copies. There was a code slip that I kind of pulled out before we got to it there, but it was available. Okay, and we have ourselves posters galore here. Let's take a look at what's on this one. Hold for a second. I'm going to try and just kind of raise this up to take a better look at the entire poster as it stands. It's a really cool poster presentation. That's pretty cool. I like that this is a Paramount Scares poster of the 4 films. Did the first one have that? I don't really remember the first one having that. Sorry about that, folks. We'll recenter this a bit better. Okay. And then this time around in here as well, we've got some of those iron-on patches. That's pretty cool. I dig that. So we've got iron-on patches for the set here. Let's go ahead and open that up and take a better look inside. I can see that we've got the Z from World War Z in here. We have Orphan First Kill. We have a Camp Crystal Lake patch. Kind of be cool enough. And Breakdown. So I like that. I think that's kind of a neat addition for this time around. Too bad they're not big enough maybe to like put on a hat. I guess you could put all 4 of them on a hat. But I kind of like this Camp Crystal Lake one because y'all know me, I'm a Friday the 13th nut, and that's pretty neat. Okay, so we have that. Over here we have this Paramount Scares. I have to take out my information here. A domed sticker. Okay, so this is it's a really nice sticker. It's a thick, it's a stretchy. This is a very high quality sticker at the very least. So that's kind of cool. Over here we also have Paramount Scares. It's like Paramount, but like scary. Another one of the classic pins for Volume 2. Pretty neat. Okay, back in there I guess too. And then we'll lift up that tray. And if you remember, you can go back to my original review of the Volume 1, and you can see how the 4 films were collected. They were all in their individual cases, but each one kind of had their own kind of unique look within the Paramount Scares thing. So we've got the 4 films right here. We're going to set this aside really quick while I move this out of the way. And we can get rid of this as well. And then we're going to take a look at these kind of individually as we go through. And the last time, again, these were just copies of the film with unique slip covers. But you know what? We're gonna take as much of an in-depth look as we can. Oh, and that's the other thing too. On the front of each one, there's kind of a symbol, kind of a new art piece that kind of stands what the film is. So there's Breakdown right there. You folks all right? Must be a quote from the film. Yeah, so Breakdown is one I haven't seen, which excites me to check this one out because I really like Kurt Russell. I've heard amazing things about Breakdown. So we'll take a look at this one here. All right, take a look at the inside discs here. Pretty standard looking discs. The classic black 4K and the classic blue Blu-ray. A tense, beautifully crafted edge-of-your-seat thriller. All roads lead to excitement with Kurt Russell and Breakdown, the non-stop thrill ride that's a move of nerve-frying intensity. Kurt Russell's best performance yet. And his wife, Jeff Taylor and his wife, Amy, are headed toward a new life in California when their car's engine dies on a remote highway. Amy accepts a ride from a helpful trucker while Jeff waits with the car. But when Jeff shows up at the agreed rendezvous, he finds his wife's not there. The locals aren't talking, the police aren't much help. With no one to turn to, he battles his worst fears and begins a desperate, danger-ridden search to find Amy before it's too late. This limited edition includes special features, including a look at the alternate opening and an audio commentary with director Jonathan Mostow and scarred Kurt Russell. So, on the special features here, we got a filmmaker focus director Jonathan Mostow on Breakdown. He's the same director who did the third Terminator film. This commentary by director Jonathan Mostow and Kurt Russell, as mentioned. Victories is hers, Kathleen Quinlan, on Breakdown, and a brilliant partnership, Martha De Laurentiis on Breakdown, as well as more. This right here is a 93-minute disc made in Germany. 93-minute, 2-disc from 1997 in full color. Yeah, that's Breakdown for you right there. Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. Wow, there's a lot happening on that one. Whew, there's a piano, we got a crossbow, we have a house on fire. This is Orphan First Kill. What are my plans, Mommy? We'll slide that on off there as well. I'm fascinated by Orphan First Kill because, to be honest, I never thought the original Orphan looked very good. But it's a movie that did pretty well as far as like gaining a cult following. And this prequel was something that was kind of interesting because you have, again, I've always kind of known the spoiler about the original Orphan. I won't ruin it here if you haven't heard, and I don't know enough about it to be able to speak to it, but Orphan First Kill, kind of the way in which this movie was structured, didn't really seem like a prequel could be done. But apparently people really like this one. So Esther's terrifying saga continues in the thrilling prequel to the original and shocking horror hit Orphan. After orchestrating a Oh, okay, that's going to give some of our stuff away. So if you don't want to know anything about Orphan, this is going to probably give away some stuff right there. So let's just talk about the special features instead. It doesn't have any listed on here, so maybe there's not any in this one. We've got our 2 discs. Let me just see if there's anything on here about Orphan First Kill. It doesn't list any special features on the outside of this as well. So this is completely possible that this doesn't have special features. But still very excited to check it out because I've heard great things about Orphan First Kill. So, well, we have the axe, we have the Bagman, we have Ginny. It's Friday the 13th Part 2, and you're all doomed. Doomed. Friday the 13th Part 2, never like a one that I'm super excited to watch in the grand scheme of things. I think it's a good installment of the franchise, but I tend to like Zombie Jason. I think Friday the 13th Part 2 is a better movie than the first film, but it kind of goes through the same wash, rinse, repeat of that first film, and so it's never been like one of my gotta have-its. It is peculiar that that it's going to be the first Friday the 13th film that I have on 4K is Part 2, just because of the really odd release strategy that Paramount has for these Scares boxes. So there we have that. Yeah, previously I have the Friday the 13th Scream Factory Blu-ray collection. So this is still an upgrade for me personally, but it's just, it's kind of odd. Jason's out there watching. So get ready for Twice the Terror with Friday the 13th Part 2, 5 Years at the Massacre at Camp Crystal Lake. The nerve-wracking legend of Jason Voorhees and his diabolical mother lives on. Despite ominous warnings from the locals to stay away from Camp Blood, a group of counselors at a nearby summer camp decide to explore the area where 7 people were brutally slaughtered. We have Inside at Crystal Lake Memories, which kind of makes me wonder if that's going to be the footage from the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. If you haven't seen the documentary, it is a 6.5-hour documentary on the entire franchise that was made after the remake came out, and since there haven't been any new installments, so it pretty much covers everything. Friday's Legacy, Horror Conventions, Lost Tales from Camp Blood Part 2, Jason Forever, and Original Theatrical Trailer. So that is an 86-minute movie. It is 1981 in full color, and that's Friday the 13th Part 2. Again, definitely I would say this is the one that, even though it's like not my favorite Friday the 13th, the one I'm most fascinated to watch. And then finally we have Brad Pitt stoically walking away from an explosive hand of zombies and some helicopter action right there, because this is World War Z. Mother Nature is a serial killer. No one's better or more creative. So there you go. Pop that over there. Okay, we got the classic 4K look at this one right here. Again, this is one I've seen twice. I think I saw it when it came out, and I think I reviewed it a year later. One of my earlier reviews that I did for 31 Days of Horror, and I remember just not enjoying this one. Watching it twice and just not having a great time with it. Now, one thing I should note is I don't think either time that I reviewed this did it have the unrated cut, which is available on here. I don't know if that makes for a different film or not. It's 7 minutes longer. Maybe it polishes up some of the things I don't like about it. But again, pretty standard 4K Blu-ray look. So over here we have The Suspense is Killer raised Peter Travers of Rolling Stone, this fast-paced, pulse-pounding action epic. Former United Nations investigator Jerry Lane is in a race against time to save both his family and the world from a pandemic that is toppling governments and threatening to destroy humanity itself. This has behind-the-scenes featurette, a compelling insider's look at the creation of the WWZ Apocalypse. You know what would have been really great, and I know they're never going to do this, but I would love to see a version of this film that has the special features about like what happened behind the scenes. If you don't know about World War Z, this movie was like almost completely rebuilt from the ground up after it was finished shooting. They saw a cut of the film that they deemed disastrous and brought in people to write some new stuff. That's why, what's the actor's name? I don't see it here. The star of Lost, Matthew Fox, that's it. He appears in this film. I don't know if he even has a line of dialogue, but he's a very small character in this film. A couple of shots and not much more. And the reason why is because he was apparently going to be like a major character in the film, but his storyline just didn't work out the way that the filmmakers intended, and so they reshot and changed a bunch of things and just kind of minimized his character to being almost no one in the film. So World War Z, I think the history behind it is more fascinating than the actual film itself. But you know what? I'm going to give it another retry. I'm going to see if this one wins me over on this next outing, because I'm always ready to be won back over again. So yeah, there we have Paramount Scares Volume 2. And as I said before, kind of what I do with these is I just place them back inside, and I'm a little bit less focused on the order of things when I put them back in, but I like the images being on the top, because that's how they are in the first collection. And then at some point I'm going to figure out what to do with the sticker and the iron-on patches and the pin, because my problem is I get these things and then I don't really know what to do with them, so I kind of just sit on them forever. But I will figure out that. You'll probably see the poster going up at some point too, because I'm trying to use more of the things that I have in my collection for their actual intended purposes. But that just is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on the 4 films that are in here, as well as the comparisons that you might find with the original Volume 1, which you can find on this channel in unboxing. And make sure to comment down below as well. What would you like to see in a Volume 3? Pick maybe like 5 movies that you think Paramount Scares could release for Volume 3 that would be exciting for you. Yeah, I find that idea very peculiar, and I wonder if we'll see another Friday the 13th or the original Orphan, or if we'll see maybe another Pet Sematary movie that was in the first set, maybe Smile 2. Give me your thoughts on that down below, but there you have it.
All right, and that was Paramount Scares Volume 2. An interesting set, some kind of very quality in the releases for this time around, and some peculiarity in the choices as well. But we got to take a look inside, and hopefully that gave you a better indication of whether or not Paramount Scares Volume 2 is right for you. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have this set, or if you've seen any of the films inside, if there's things that excite you about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to like and subscribe. There are 2 free things you can do to help support the channel immensely, and you never miss 2 episodes of the show as they drop. You can also check out goatfilmreviews.com for my many written reviews. You can find me on Facebook at Goat Film Reviews. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Blue Sky at Almighty Goatman. And you can find my show Kyle and Nick on Film that I co-host with Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes of that show every single week. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.